Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of the International Fab Talks. International Fab Talks is about connecting with all kinds of individuals across the globe, irrespective of class, caste, creed, gender, geographical locations. We are all united by one thing, connecting for a special purpose to create awareness, to understand life, to make it easy for others, and to make it easy for our own selves. And we love to bond when people love to share their time with us. It's an extreme joy when people agree to share their time. And during that time, when they share with us, they share their wisdom, they share their experience, they share their expertise. And it's a proud privilege for each one of you who view this session or the various sessions we've had on the International Fab Talks to gain a lot of knowledge, to understand people, to understand your own selves as to where your life should lead you to, what you want to become in life, or what kind of professional you would like to get connected with. Today, we are really privileged to have the special presence of Dr. Suiti Narayan. She's joining us all the way from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. Let's get to know more about her journey and celebrate her journey today on the International Fab Talks. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to the session. Thank you so much for being a part of our journey.
Thank you so much for welcoming me and inviting me to share my thoughts.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. And thank you for your patience. We had a technical issue and we really thank you for being very patient and allowing us to conduct the session smoothly. Thank you very much. So, dear friends, I go ahead and share ma'am's profile, of course, with ma'am's permission. Dear ma'am, I go ahead and share your profile and we begin the session.
Sure.
So, friends, you know that I share the profiles of all the celebrity guests who are here on the International Fab Talks at the start for you to understand who our guest is. And if you really are interested in the guest's profile from the start itself, so you can sit down glued to your seats and have a wonderful time getting to know the guest, getting to know their expertise, how you could become the next Dr. Suiti Narayan, and how you could really touch lives. Dr. Suiti Narayan has been on the professional journey for more than 4 decades. And it's not just 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, or 10 years. 4 decades is like almost 40 plus years. And she's here with us. Let's get to know what type of things we could learn or what are the important tips she's going to share with us. So I go ahead and share ma'am's profile. We have with us, as I earlier mentioned, dear friends, she is none other than Dr. Suiti Narayan. She is joining us all the way from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. She's the president of Creative Communication and Management Center located in Chennai, a center for personal and professional excellence. And she has been in the field of training and development and has contributed a lot to human life, to the human existence, to put it right, because we all need to be trained at one point of time. We forget who we are, we forget how to behave and how to develop ourselves, or we need to elevate ourselves. So we have professionals like Dr. Suiti Narayan who will enable us in the right way to reach heights in our personal and professional journey. She holds a PhD in human development, and that is how she is really advancing in her career and advancing in helping people across the globe. She is a corporate trainer for the past 4.5 decades. As I earlier mentioned, 4 decades. Now it's 4.5 decades, almost 45 years. She's a wonderful professional. She's a certified platinum master trainer for NLP certification through NFNLP, Florida, USA. She's also a practicing counselor and therapist. She approaches healing with a holistic perspective. It's not just a one-sided way. It's like a holistic perspective when you conduct sessions like based on healing. So she's very much connected with her clients as a counselor, as a therapist. That's really nice. And she has various tools for helping the clients to overcome all the challenges, either on the personal or professional front. She has been bestowed with several awards on different platforms for being an excellent trainer, a counselor, and above, a great human being. I'd like to add more to ma'am's profile. As I earlier mentioned, she is focused on designing and conducting training programs for the public, in-house training programs for companies and educational institutions. And in the field of counseling, she has spent over 2 decades and is happy doing what she is doing today. So we'll get to know more about it. Dear ma'am, thank you so much. You have a brilliant profile. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And thank you for agreeing. Dear ma'am, the first question I'd like to ask you, why did you choose training and development? There were so many other professions. What drew you to training and development?
As a young girl, when I was in school, I was called a chatterbox. I used to love talking, talking, talking. No one could stop me. And as I progressed in life, I wanted to encash that because I very sarcastically I say People punished me for talking and I made them pay for it. I'm a professional speaker.
Wow.
I'll pay when I speak. So then the idea is I converted what was supposed to have been a disadvantage to an advantage. I realized I wanted to share with people. I realized I didn't want to be employed. So as soon as I finished my post graduation, I became a trainer because I had a few topics that I could start with. And then as I grew, my programs also grew and I became a designer, design to delivery trainer. So I designed the modules and I delivered. I don't hire anyone to do that. I design from design to delivery, I execute even now.
Excellent. You know what I like about the way you said this? I was a chatterbox and I've turned it into something really special. That's really nice. And if you take me, ma'am, I was very quiet, shy, timid. I didn't speak much. And today, like, I speak so much and I'd love to meet people. Like, somewhere I could correlate with you, I could resonate with you and your work. That's really nice. I think all the others also should learn like this. If there's something negative about you, transform it into a passion or transform it into something positive, and you could really make a beautiful life with something that you consider negative or the other people consider it as negative. You can transform it into something very powerful and empowering. Dear ma'am, you took up counseling as well. And since the past 2 decades, you are into counseling as well. First, if you could just let us know what is counseling, because many of them, they fear the moment they hear the name of a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a mental health professional. They want to go very far away from them. They feel that they are not okay still to meet a counselor. So what is counseling and how it could, change people's lives and their thoughts, or maybe rewire their brain? Over to you.
It's like this. As a trainer, I like to say why I became a counselor.
Yes.
For about 2 decades, I was traveling all over India for my training programs, because all my programs is on self-development, individual taking responsibility for their realizing their potential, for their success, for their problems to solve. People approached me with problems, and I wasn't a qualified or certified counselor. So I used to send them to counselors. After about 22 decades of that, I said, all I need is to get exposed to that, because by then I had got trained in transactional analysis, neuro linguistic programming, and many other tools which I could use in order to analyze people, help people, etc. And I used to blend them in my training programs. So my training programs were not just like do this, do that. It will be like, what would you like to do? Can you think of this? From exploration point of view. So the person thinks and comes up with solutions. So I went ahead and then got myself certified. So now for your to answer your question, first I said I didn't want to be a counselor because that is not my forte. Training is mine. But when we look at training or the difference is here I have one individual, there I have a group of people. And they write back to me saying your program transformed my life. So there's something there that is happening. Something that is triggering people to think and change their lives, and I don't know I'm doing it. So then I said, okay, let me get qualified, and I got. Then now I understood that when when we have a problem in the health. So we will look, okay, I have fever. Maybe I'll take Crozin, and then 2 days I manage. Third day it doesn't go, I go to a doctor. We have no qualms about going to a doctor to get us physically healthier. But when it comes to mental issues, we postpone, we don't change our patterns, we accumulate so much of problems in our mind, so complex we make it that we are not able to come out of it. We don't realize we have done it, we blame others. So then in counseling, we help the person look at their own situation in a different way. In counseling, we don't offer solutions because who are we to solve somebody else's problem? Each individual is, believe me and mark this line, each individual has the capacity to solve their own problems, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know they can. Because the minute I say I can solve my problem, then I need to stare at the reality I've created it myself and I take the responsibility for solving it. As long as I have the problem, I have many other advantages. But the important thing is when the mind gets disturbed beyond a point, it pushes it on the body. So and when it goes to that body, that part of it, it goes deeper. So counseling is at the beginning level where we help the person, if the person can think for themselves, And they are in the here and now, and they're able to process information and look at alternatives and take action. That is where counseling helps. Whereas when we say therapy, we need to go inwards, go into childhood memories, and then recreate, reprogram, recondition, rewire them so that it doesn't impact the present. So, at what point we go inwards, we wouldn't know until we talk to the client. So, when I used to send them to counselors, I know where to stop because as a trainer, I'm not supposed to go into that personal area, which is not correct. So, but then once I learned that, that is a difference there. So, there are degrees, you can say. There are people who have gone for therapy for many years and still haven't come out of it because they have deeper issues. So then, the therapy part of it is on the healing, on the childhood memories, on the patterns that they have imbibed, etc. Counseling will be okay. What happened? What is it that you can do? What do you think you did? What do you think you can do different? How do you think it will help you? So the focus is on helping the person think and solve. So that's the difference. Now, when it comes to um, people being reluctant, so and even more reluctant is if I go to a psychiatrist, he will or she will give me medicines. So when someone has diabetes, they don't mind taking sugar tablets for life. But when someone has a depression and or they have some other condition, they are reluctant to take tablets because with your 45 become addicted to it. But you're addicted to being depressed. That's not able to see. One is addicted to feeling sad. Addicted meaning it makes they are not able to see the ray of light in anything. So they are habituated, we can say. We need not say use the word addicted, which will be a little harsh. Habituated to feeling sad. And they don't know why. They don't know why they are doing it because they don't want to. Nobody wants to feel sad. But then in the end, I end up, why? Why would I? So in counseling, we help them realize you have choices. The one choice you made somewhere, you have ended here, but you can make another choice. And then we explore with the client. So that is the process.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing that. You've shared that very elaborately. Thank you very much. Now, dear ma'am, you hold a PhD with regard to human development. Now, when we speak of human development, what aspects do you deal with?
So my basic graduation is from home science, in which I did masters in child development. After I did my masters, after a gap of 12 years, I went back to college and did my MPhil. In those days, MPhil was important. After that, I did my PhD. At that level, they called it human development. So then the human development is the subject that studies human beings from before birth till death. But after that, they don't tackle it. After that, they don't have the bandwidth to handle it. So all the developmental phases an individual goes through the lifespan. So we learn about the lifespan. We cannot separate physical, mental, emotional. Every one of them are important. Physical, economic, emotional, mental, social. All of them are interrelated. So we study what are the milestones, what is somebody supposed to achieve at that age. Even if they're 40 plus, there are milestones to achieve. So how does an individual go through the developmental phases in different areas of development? And if there is an aberration, what would happen? If there is some problem, for example, at some phase, trauma or loss or something, how it affects their overall adjustment, and then they become malaligned, or rather they develop further if they withdraw or they become aggressive. So then they don't know how to cope with because they lack resilience, for example. I've lost something, I'm not able to cope with it. So behind everybody's story, there is grief or disappointment or anger. So once we help them realize that's a way they see it, in NLP, we have a whole theory on how we see reality, which is now confirmed through Vedanta also that we can never see somebody else's reality. So the way I see my reality, no one is able to see it. So I have my own interpretation of my past, and that is what I need to rewrite. Is what we help the clients know. You can rewrite your past. You can choose to write your future in the present so that your future is taken care. So, what aspect of human development? Human development is a very broad subject. In the government, they call it Human Development Index because they take care of the entire gamut. But then the way people ask me, such a subject exists, and I say yes, it does, even now. And it's more than 45 years 50 years since I finished that program.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. Now, dear, I'd love to know about your childhood. Now, as you've mentioned, you were a very talkative child. Now, did they say that at home or at school?
everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay, let me talk about your school level. Like,
I studied in an ordinary school, which was
uh-huh.
extraordinary because it was ordinary. It was more than 100 years old. That's a school. My mother had studied in Matanga, Mumbai, which is called SIES High School. Even now it is there. That is school recently, 10, 15 years back, Abdul Kalam had also visited. It's a historical school. It's a very ordinary school where we all spoke in Tamil and we didn't speak in English. And if we speak in English, we are called a stylish person. People will make fun of us. So that's a kind of simple school, but very good teachers. Each teacher had a caricature of their own, but they were very good teachers. So I studied my school in Mumbai and then came to Madras, to Chennai. It was then Madras. So in the whole process, after my schooling, when I joined college here, the atmosphere is very different. People are very different. I was in a co-ed school. I came to an all-girls college. It's very different, experience altogether. So what makes me, if you ask me about my childhood, two things I can say. One, I was very good in my studies. I was very interested in games like basketball, drawing, painting. However, when we grow up in a conservative family, girls are not given a lot of freedom. So we used to be restrained, like you can't do this, you can't do that. All that was there, and I was very angry about it. So I used to be the female version of Amitabh Bachchan's angry young girl. So that was the way I saw. Like when I'm denied something permission because I'm a girl, I would rebel and I would show my anger, and then that's not very nice. But then that's the way I grew up, and I had to work on it. That is, I became a counselor.
Excellent, excellent, ma'am. That's really nice. You shared that so well. Now, dear, what I'd like to ask you is, do you have any unforgettable memory with regard to your school with any teacher or any classmate or a peer?
Unforgettable, so many are there. One of my classmates, he used to be targeted by every teacher for being stupid. So every teacher would tease him, would punish him. He was, when I used to see that, now I recall, I used to feel sad. That's something I could not forget because I felt it's wrong. But I don't have the power to stop that. And I wondered what happened to him. So when I moved to Chennai and then I went back to Bombay for something, I met him. I spoke to him. He was by then a lonely soul. He was in his 40s when I met him. And hardly much we spoke. He had become an alcoholic, didn't get married, and he died young. And I believe every teacher who hurt him is responsible for that. I don't know about his parents, his comments, and all that, but that one person in my mind was an example of how the system can fail one individual. If any one of those teachers had woken up and said, "What is wrong with you? What is it that you want as help?" Any one of them could have helped, but they did not. They did not take it seriously that it can affect him so much that later he didn't want to live a healthy life. So when I inquired, they said he has become a loser. He didn't proceed in his education. He didn't and I think perhaps in those days, my sensitivity to people is what helped me to become a professional in this area. That's
Yes.
one thing I cannot forget.
Thank you
And
for sharing that.
yeah, and another one I cannot forget is we organized a strike in my school. In the history of the 100-year-old school, nobody had organized a strike. But we had some misunderstandings with the management. So our batch walked out of the school and then created hartal outside, which was unheard of. And among the boys, I was the only girl.
Oh,
I was marked out. This is Jada clear. So my parents were out of station, so the whole area got, oh God, there is strike in our school, unheard of, and I was part of it. I'll say this that taught me people can be one in the front and another at the back. So what else can I say about unforgettable experience? How many can we choose here? Well, it was a lot of hard work, because I was one of the good students, and studying was the only thing I did.
Yes,
We were not allowed to go visit friends, go shopping, outing, and all that. If I remember, we all come from very conservative background where the girls have restrictions. 6 o'clock ke baad, we should not go out and all that. So if I want to go to my friend's house, the first question that will be asked is, who is there? So if parents are there, grandparents are there, her brother is there. What? Brother is there? You're not good. As simple as that. So I haven't visited friends, I haven't gone for a movie with friends and things like that, which probably today everybody does, but in those days, those were the right lifestyle. And it was accepted. No complaints.
yes, dear. Thank you for sharing all of that, ma'am. Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing all of that, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now, I'd love to know about your college days. What kind of a girl were you during your college days? Did you bunk college? Did you go for
Never
the movies?
bunked college. I have never bunked any class.
Mhm.
Incidentally, I got married when I was in second year BSc Home Science. My parents got me married the third term, 1 month before the exam. Would anybody do that? But my parents believe that girls should be married before they are 18. So that's the family's norm. The only saving grace for me was I told them I will not marry unless I am allowed to continue. That was the first time I took my life in my own hands because I saw what happened to my sister. She got married at 17, became a mother at 18. And I didn't want to do that. But my parents said, no, no, you have to get married, blah, 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 all that. And I said, okay, I'll get married if the person is agreeing for me to continue. That was one thing that I did which changed my destiny forever. Because if I had not done that, I would have been a usual um, person, mother, got married, okay, good daughter-in-law, good wife, good mother, and then that circuit would have been my life. But then I decided, and they said we don't know whether they will agree. If they don't agree, let them go look for some other girl. I said. So they went and told. I said we also want a graduate daughter-in-law. So I went in for my graduation. So in my college days, I was a very dynamic leader. Everybody remembers me to be a firebrand, even in my school. I'm very vocal and I'm very nonsensical. No one, my class boys nowadays now they tell me we are all 60 plus, and now they tell me you used to be scared talking to you because you were such a that kind of person. And um, I don't know, but then in my college also they say, oh, you were different. You were always leading. I was a leader. I have been a class rep and I'm a good student. I'm a very good student because I'm a class topper. In my third year, a couple of papers. In my first year, in pre-university, a couple of papers I got first in my year, that pre-university, physics and chemistry. And then after my third year, I got a couple of papers. I got good marks, and I was the top there in the university. And so that has been my pattern. So after that, I had to take a decision whether I will continue my masters or not. That was also a crucial decision. So I took a decision not to start a family, but then go for my higher studies. And everyone was shocked. It's 2 years since you got married, you haven't started a family, how can you do this? Blah, blah. So when a woman decides something for herself, there are 10 people opposing it, and they are women. Men don't talk. It is the other women who come and say, you're supposed not to do this, you're not to do that. Do you know what you're doing? This ruin your future. Oh no. So I actually took my mother-in-law into confidence and I told her this is what I'm thinking. I feel like studying and I will study, but I will not stop starting a family. If it happens, I will stop my program, my MSc program. And then as by the grace of the Almighty, we can say, I finished my post-graduation, then I became a mother. And then I have two daughters. After that, I went back 12 years later to college to my MPhil. And 2 years later, joined the PhD. Then come. So I couldn't have done my doctorate unless I had made those choices early in my life. So that my college days were spread out. So till post graduation, that was one segment, and my MPhil and university was another. So in college, did I bunk? I never bunked because since I was married early, and since my parents are strict, for marriage I didn't cut. After marriage, I dare not cut. So I don't know how to cut a class and go for a movie. I never done that. And I never even thought that I'm not able to do it. I didn't even think like that. All my friends will say, hey, we are going for a movie, you're coming? I said, no, I need to get back home. Because I had a lovely mother-in-law who wasn't healthy, and she would do most of the housework before I go, so that I don't have to, before I go back home, so that I don't have to work. But then I would reach home as early as possible to make sure things are done, so she doesn't do major work on that. So she was my best friend for 13 years when she lived with us, and then she left the world. So, mm, did I have fun? Oh yes, I had a lot of fun within the college. So I was like when I was in my pre-university or first year, I did one. We went for drama, English drama, and I acted like a priest. And it was a very funny thing that I there's this we didn't even know how to make a costume. We didn't have money to do it, so I did my own mustache with my false hair and all that. I something and all I made. It was very funny, but I acted very well, and I got the best actress award because the judges felt, in spite of so many problems, she acted very well, so she should be the one. So I got a prize. So I have had my own experiences of fun. Not in the usual bunking class, going out, seeing a movie, etc. In those days, seeing a movie is a big thing.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing all of that, ma'am. Are you still connected with all your friends? I mean, your school friends and college friends? Do you still have a connect with them?
Yeah, we have WhatsApp groups. We meet once
Okay,
in a while. We meet.
that's really nice to be connected. It's really a good feeling when you're connected to your classmates and your college mates. It's really
Yeah,
great.
about 5 or 6 of us will go for lunch and then tell the whole restaurant we are friends from 1972. We finished school together, and now so really 50 years back you're completely 50. Oh, wow. And actually, we didn't have any connection for 40 years. It's only after WhatsApp that our connection started. Few people we had, but most people we did not. Then we started connecting one by one. Now we have a very good group. Very important to connect with our old friends because they know us before we became whoever we are. We think we are.
Yes, yes, ma'am. That's really nice. And we should thank technology, I think, right? And all those
Absolutely.
innovators and inventors who have introduced all the latest technology for us to connect and to bond.
Otherwise, can you from Hyderabad and me from Chennai have the session?
Very true, very true. Sumati, ma'am, I'd like to ask you, what has motherhood taught you?
Motherhood taught me, number one, to have faith. Because I almost lost my first one in childbirth. I was against God. I was so God. If God was there, these things won't happen. There's no God. A typical teenager, and then I said, if you are really there, prove to me by saving my child. Then when I held my child, I realized that it was God's grace. So, so what did motherhood do to me? The first thing that happened is my faith. My faith in there is a power protecting us. At that point, the power is outside. The power is in the universe. So then I'm not very religious. And I don't like to say that the statement, oh, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. No, I'll say this I'm a reflecting person, I'm a seeker. No. But I have always been a seeker in terms of what can anyone do to improve their life. So, what did motherhood do to me to improve me as a human being? Remember, I told you I had anger issues, and I realized unless I work on my anger issues, I cannot be a happy mother. So, motherhood taught me patience, motherhood taught me responsibility. How much of trust our children have on us, and we need to earn it. Once we lose it, we'll never get it. So, because I'm from child development, I know the importance of mother's role in a child's life. I know fathers also have a role, but the mother's role is unique. Father's role is unique. And they need us till they are a little grown up, like 5 years. So the first 5 years of their life, we need to be available. There's something a lot of people have to compromise because of life and situations, but they pay a price. Either way, people pay a price. So you choose your priorities. So I chose not to be employed so that I can be attending on them. So I've been a mother. So motherhood taught me to connect with my children the way my parents could not connect with me. Very different. So I was a part of their drama, of their activities. They would have assemblies where they would go and do some dance. So about 20, 30 of them have to be made up in the morning. At 7:30, many people, many mothers don't have time. So I will go and volunteer to put lipstick, kajal, blah, 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 on all of them, every one of them. They come and stand in a queue and then dress them up and then make them ready. So I've enjoyed their school days. So motherhood taught me to connect back to the innocence and the phase where they still have values expressed as, oh, I love my country, I love my school, I love my people. Those lines mean something to them when they are in school. So I could connect back to those. Because motherhood taught me how to be a better human being.
Yes, dear. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I mean, like all mothers could resonate with what you shared. For
I
me,
hope
it was I like became more responsible. I began to take up responsibilities very seriously once I became a mother. Like I understood life at that moment. So I could resonate with what you shared. That's really nice, dear. Ma'am, now we'll talk about self-love. Okay. Now, once we become a mother, we forget ourselves and we are not able to, take care of ourselves. There are several professional women, maybe unprofessionals also, like, I mean, the housewives, common housewives, and the professional women. Once they become mothers, they forget to take care of themselves. A few of them, not all, a few of them. They forget self-love or they forget to groom themselves or, mentally, physically. They just go with the flow. And at one point of time, maybe when the nest is empty, it's then that they realize they have not taken care or saved up for themselves, or they have not given importance to themselves. What is it like from your experience, how you could help them? Like what is the best way we could help these women to take care of themselves?
I'll answer the question with a decision I made. When I was married, I got introduced to transactional analysis, which transformed my life. Transactional analysis is a theory of personality and communication, very powerful. And the trainer who had come was the same age as my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was a very kind, compassionate, always doing for others person who wouldn't take care of herself. Whereas this lady who was there, that's the first time I learned that it's very important to take care of. So what is the difference between these two women? I said, I don't want to end up like my mother-in-law. And I've seen many people who are 40 plus who are frustrated because, as you said, what did I do all this for? What did I gain? So then what happened? I used to do some programs on televisions. People used to not, I'm not a popular person, but I'm a very serious person who has interviewed a lot of people. I've done programs and things like that. So people see me on the road and they say, oh, you're that person who used to speak in. One of the classmates I had, she met me on the station and she blurted out saying, when I looked at you, I said, my God, where she is reached, where am I? So I decided to myself that I will not be one of those women who will be 40 plus and cribbing. So taking care of myself has been my theme right from the beginning. I will tell, but see, the first question is if I want to study, it's a taking care of myself. So that became my mantra because unless you take care of yourself, like okay, I've made my mistakes. For example, I would eat after my children come from school at 2 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, I eat. It didn't suit my health, and I realized I would rather eat and be ready to feed them than wait to eat with them. Then I need to focus on giving them. So I decided that I will first take care of myself so that I'll be in a better position to take care of everyone in my family. Now, this is a message that is not given by elders. They're always told put yourself last, then you are a good woman, then you are a good mother. You must put your needs last. You should eat last only if it is available or whatever. So I used to ask women who are around me and say, what do you gain out of it? Did anybody tell you starve in order to feed them? No, this is your own creation. So I made that my message wherever I went so that my women friends realize that they have a choice to take care of themselves. So it is a conditioning from the culture, from the family. And then no permission to take care of yourself. But who is anybody to give you permission to take care of yourself? Who is stopping you? You prepared the food. Take and eat now. You want to go walk. I used to go for morning walks. Was a morning walk person. See, I'm saying I was. No, I'm not. One uncle told me, I always think all these women who are going for a walk, they have no other job at home. That's why they are able to come for a walk in the morning. But when I saw you going, I said, I know you are doing a lot of work. I wondered, how did you do? I said, all women who are coming for walk also have work at home. Please don't say that because it takes effort to go out in the morning, take care of your health and come back, and then you'll have the strength to take care of the entire family and the job or whatever. So unless this has been my message to all the younger women to say, you need to give yourself permission to take care of this. Don't let somebody else take it away from you. Because they will subtly give you messages like you're not supposed to do that. According to who? Who wrote that? If you look at our Puranas, our scriptures, none of them say women should sacrifice themselves to take care of the others. No. This is somebody is reading in between, and then if you are a woman, this is how you should be. You must break all that. So there are a lot of bindings are there, and it is women who put it on women. Now I don't want to talk about men because at any point we know how to say no, and if we did not, they are not responsible. It's time that a woman says, I need to take care of myself. So they look at role models, no? Who's at home? So then the mother is like that, oh, that is no. Mother doesn't eat on time. Oh, and they will get very nice names, you know. Oh, no one is like you. You're so compassionate. And this person, they don't know they're ruining their health. They'll have acidity, they'll have other problems, knee joint problems, this problem. If, like I say to this women, if someone, women don't know, they do common mistakes like they're not well, they won't go to the doctor. If somebody is unwell in the family, you run and take them to the doctor. Why you don't deserve it? Who told you you don't deserve it? So it is your own creation, it is not somebody else. So I don't subscribe to the thought that society does it. It is time we stop blaming all of them because we women have come a long way and we were taken away from our roles or our responsibilities or our power because of myths. And then we believe the myths. It's time we get out of it because we don't need permission.
Yes, dear. Ma'am, you come across as an outspoken person, a person with progressive thoughts, and I appreciate that. And I would love all of us to have the same courage and power that you have within you, like to be outspoken, to stand up for the right causes, to love yourself. Only when you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. You shared that very well. Now, I'd like to ask you this question, irrespective of gender, because lately we've just heard of an incident, we've seen an incident that a particular individual committed suicide because he was being harassed by his wife and his in-laws. Irrespective of gender, how much is too much for a person to bear for married
What,
people?
what people, there is no norm. What is norm is you have the power within you to make better choices. See, he has taken so much of effort to record it and everything. Instead of that, he could have gone to a counselor, no? He could have, I don't know what happened. The details, I don't know. But a man chooses to do it. Is it regarded as to be glorified? It's so sad. What is his education and income for? So he lost a lot of money in cases they had. Who is allowing whom to harass? If someone is harassing you, move away from them, and it's all in the head. So whether it is a woman or a man going through harassment, they have lost the power of who they are within. See, I'll ask you a question. Somebody comes to me for counseling. The first question I ask them is, what made you come? They say, I've been suffering so much. I didn't like this. And so I said, that's the first thing that I ask. And somebody calls me and says, my daughter has a problem, my wife has a problem, or my mother or a sister has a problem. I say, ask them to talk to me. Only if they want a solution, I will talk to them. So you can't decide that person has to solve their life's problem. So when somebody has a problem, they need to ensure they don't give up fighting. Instead of using the courage that is the act of being born in this world is the most traumatic experience according to us human development specialists, or rather, in the field of human development, birth is a trauma because you come out from a very comfortable, cozy, you don't even have to breathe, you don't have to eat, you don't have to chew, nothing. Everything is taken care of, umbilical cord is cut, now do on your own, breathe on your own, everything you need to, temperature is different, it's dry. So we are thrown into a different world where we have to come out and survive. And then, so that is a biggest trauma. If you have outlived that, the gift of life is in your body, that cannot be wasted with sorrow and anger. Now, when I say this, I may be coming out as harsh, but I will challenge everyone who says you can't get out. Who is that telling you within you, you cannot? I can't do that. Who is the I telling you, you cannot? Who is the I there? Who is that? Let us say a confident person. Somebody tells me, now you're giving solutions to people. How are you sure it'll work? So I'll ask them one question. I'm not giving solutions. But they have the power to find the solution. So I only have to enable that. This is something many people don't realize. Each of us have the power within ourselves to make ourselves or mar ourselves. And here I would like to share this one beautiful quote, Uddared Atmanam Atmanam Natmanam Avasadaye Atmaiva Yatmano Bandhurat Atmaiva Praturatmana. What is the meaning of this? In Bhagavad Gita, it's a very beautiful verse which says, you lift yourself using the power of your mind because you are your best friend. Your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. What do you make of it is within you. So when I'm saying I can't bear this. Okay, who is the I telling you you can't bear it? You're seeing yourself suffering and you can't see yourself suffering. Good. Do something about it instead of quitting. So this life is not given for us to quit. So the person who is making, who is saying, I didn't have any choice, actually have a choice. They've made a choice that they will end their life. That's a choice. There are other choices, no? As a counselor, I pray when someone comes to me and says, I have suicidal tendencies. It's a big challenge for me because that person doesn't know the powerhouse in which he's sitting or she's sitting. So my job is to remove all the muck and help them get the power of it. Because everyone who is born in this world has that power. Do you know what power I'm talking about? The power of life. That is something no one can give someone. It has come to us. So how do we make use of that life force within us to make better choices or to make difficult ones? That becomes a habit. So instead of getting habituated to problems and sadness and anger and everything, use your intellect to come out and say, hey, why did I do that? I could have done it differently. Can I have done it? I can't do it differently. So if you tell me what else I could have done. So let's explore that. So then we are talking. When we are talking, we are in the here and now because the solutions are always in the here and now, never in the past, never in the future. What people don't realize is the past doesn't exist except in your head. Can you see your past anywhere in this world? The future doesn't exist anything anywhere other than your head. What is existing is this moment now and is over when you say now. Whatever changes I want to make can be made only in the now. Now, can I make something to make myself happy? So we do this intuitively. See, when a child cries, we say to the child, say, no, it's okay, ma, it's okay, ma. He see that crow there, it's saying, the child, the child sees that, the child forgets that he's supposed to be crying. So we learn early in life, we can distract a mind which is sad or angry. We can distract towards a better thing. Then we are not doing that for ourselves. So I get into a mood. If I like one employee of an organization said, once somebody points out something to me, the whole day my mood is off. That means you'll make more mistakes. So then I asked her, what choice do you have? What do you wish you want? Now that's a question that many of us don't answer, which is what do you want? Somebody who is in a difficult situation, ask them what do you want? Huh? I don't want this trouble in my life. Good. So what do you want? I told you, no, I don't want this trouble. I know you told me what you don't want. Tell me what you want. Feeling happy? We don't cultivate happiness habits. So when I tell people, what do you want to be happy about? I don't know what makes me happy. So find out. I don't know what is happiness. Oh, really? Let's explore that. What stops you from that? So then the person is thinking, in that direction, I didn't even think. Problem ke bare mein, again and again, again and again, again and again, like a broken cycle. So the Charlie Chaplin's example of um, when he cracked one joke and people laughed, and he cracked the same joke, people laughed a little bit. Then he cracked the same joke, they didn't laugh. He cracked the same joke, they looked at him and stared. And he said, what happened? You don't feel like laughing? I said, no. So a comedy piece, I say it again, you don't feel like laughing. It's boring. Why do people tell your stories, your sad stories again and again and again? How long you have to keep talking about sad stories? This is one of the anecdotes that I've shared. It's so true. So how long do you want to keep on? You know what happened? So the clients have a habit of going to the past and living in the past. The present is not available to them. So to bring them to the present and say, you are now talking about your past. I don't want to listen to them. And one of the beautiful things about neuro-linguistic programming is it is content free. Somebody comes and says, I have had a trauma. I don't ask them what happened. What are you feeling now? What can we change? We go to that. We don't go into the reliving chants, saying what it is again and again and again. Because when we say it, we won't say the original version. We copied version, the one-word version, altered version. We will say. So we all have choices. What I want to say here is I have a choice to choose what I want in my life, and that's something everybody has to own it up. So when you say self-love, who is the self-loving myself? Or there are exercises in NLP for that. I subscribe to that. Okay. It's a process, but ultimately, who I want to love myself. I want to love myself. Who is the I who wants to love oneself? So who is I and who is the self? When they become one, there is something, no? And when can I love myself? When I really know who I am. So reflection, a little bit of introspection, and then choosing to understand ourselves in a better way. If I'm living like this, there is a reason for it. Can I have a purpose in my life? Am I enjoying myself? Am I making other people miserable? No. So can we contribute? So the greatest joy is in doing something that gives joy for us and for others. And then we leave a path of happiness. That is a life well lived.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. Thank you very much. Thank you for the elaborate explanation. Thank you very much. Another sensitive question. Now, there are many senior citizens who haven't saved for themselves. You might be knowing that because you also are connected with your peers, I mean, with your classmates and your college mates, and you might have seen many people around you. They might have given their all to their family members and they have nothing towards the end. Now, why don't we all work together to create employment or generate employment for citizens above a certain age, like employment for senior citizens, let me put that right, for senior citizens, because once we keep them occupied, they will have dignity of labor, they will feel appreciated. So have you and your team, or maybe the people you know, joined together and try to create some type of a source of employment for these people who can come in, work, get some amount and go back with dignity, than to be dependent on their children, or put out their hand and ask. There are so many people who are ready to work, but they do not have the employment schemes around them. So why don't we as a whole unit join together, create some employment schemes for them? Have you thought of this, or have you ever discussed, or did somebody discuss, or are you
No, I haven't thought about employment for elderly because I think when an elderly person has created enough wealth where they have been able to educate their children, etc., if they have not been wise enough to save for themselves and they're facing a situation where the crunch is there, it's very sad. But at that point, employment, I don't know how many of them would like to do that every day. Because by then, at 60s, many things change. So then one wouldn't want to, like, what might interest them is their hobbies. But for employment, you need commitment. You need to be passionately working, or at least you need to be working every day. That's a commitment we make. There is a lot of sadness there. So then the zeal to get up and go and do a job, I don't know how many people will have. So when we look at if they can find something that combines their hobby and they're able to do something and earn, that's a bonus. But yeah, I haven't worked on that area at all by creating employment, but creating joy we can. So when we look at today, a lot of our awareness is being given to say, do not give everything to your children, keep something for yourself. There are families with a lot of problems and sad history where these things are happening. Is there a way out? There is. They can walk away from there, and there are many other places that they can find a heaven. Like ashrams are there where they can work. They don't get money because money then becomes nothing. But sustaining and survival becomes an issue. So many of them leave their home and go and stay in an ashram where they are valued for being a human being, and they have opportunities to reflect on what has happened and forgive their children and come to peace about what has happened. That is what is more important than creating employment. So when we ask what is the important thing about senior citizens is give them an awareness of if you are not happy now, part of it is your own creation. So now start creating a different joy. So whatever has happened has happened. Now you see how you can create joy today for yourself. Tomorrow you don't know you're alive or I'm alive. So can we help them create joy? So when I counsel elderly, especially during pandemic, A lot of people used to have audio calls in order for them to overcome their fears. So I find that many people, oh, you can live in despair. This is another thing that we learn in our human development. Either you come to an understanding and acceptance of life, what life has given. Because when we came into this world, we came empty-handed. Then we had a journey, we earned something, and then someone took it all away. And I am now penniless, and I'm feeling betrayed. That is the underlying. And then the one who does it is the one I love most, and that is the time they need to transcend and say, this is what ultimately life teaches you. What is a lesson you can learn? You don't hurt yourself further. So a little bit of reflection, little bit of inputs from any path of faith you take. Every faith says the same thing: come to peace with life. So even if the children have taken it away, but they haven't taken your will away. Now, see, if you read the book Man's Meaning of Life by Viktor Frankl, it's about he's a Holocaust survivor who then became the author for, he's a psychologist, a doctor, who then created the locus of control theory and all that on positive psychology, all that they created. He used to say everyone can take away everything from you, but not the power of your choice. So you have a choice even now not to be shaken up by all these things. This is something that's never taught to the elder. So they need to listen to something that will give them that faith that though they have taken away everything from them, they shouldn't be able to take that peace of mind. So then you'll ask me, how can somebody be peaceful when they can walk away? The world is very big. So life is teaching them to be finding something in them that they have not. Now, this is not far-fetched because it is very toxic to remain in a place where you are not respected and given taken. It's very toxic. So then the person will become even more negative and feel victimized and feel they will carry that in their soul. It is not health. So more than employment, in addition to employment, you can say, but no one will employ them. See, that is another thing. So a working place only for senior citizens, I haven't seen in this world. But then there are many. By then they realize money doesn't buy anything. So money has different value at that time. But their basic needs are very important. I have seen in so many um, residences for elderly, will come and take the pension, give a part of the money to the mother, and take away the money, and then collect the money and make an FD, make this person suffer, and anything she asks to selectively give. What are we doing here? You see, the person who is doing it, the person who is getting hurt, both are not aware. And if at some point, that is where women need to learn to be assertive right from early in life. So while we're taking care of the elderly in one way, some amount of reflection, some amount of some kind of a seeking has to be there for them to come to terms with life. Whereas we as women who have become somebody in our life need to give the message to other women to become assertive. Tell them what you want. Well, let's see what happens. Let's negotiate. As long as I'm a weak person, the other person will have power. If I become strong, that person's power is lost. So my weakness is giving that person power to ruling my life. So we are giving away the key of our happiness and putting it in their pocket, holding on to this relationship called I'm a mother of this child and not realizing we don't even own our child. What are we holding on to? That realization that I don't own anything in this world except this body. Can I take care of this body and this mind, this life? That's a gift. And nothing can shake you up.
You come across as a person filled with lots of wisdom, ma'am. That's really nice. You shared that so well. And I'm sure the senior citizens would definitely get the answer they are seeking. Ma'am, as I earlier mentioned, you're a progressive thinker. I'd like to ask you one question, a very, very sensitive one. The live-in relationships that are very prevalent nowadays. Like marriage has a lot of hassles. It is connected with law and entangled with so many things. Now most of the youngsters and the middle-aged and all of them are into live-in relationships. Now, what is your take on that? What are your thoughts on it? I would like to know.
It is their choice.
Wow. You just said that so quickly, it's their choice.
Yeah,
Would you like
because
to add something?
who are we to judge somebody?
It's not judging. It's like, what are your thoughts? I want to know what, from your point of view,
Everyone,
what is it?
see, the marriage is supposed to be the most important relationship in life. Okay. If the marriage is not what it is supposed to be, the person feels unhappy, or the person doesn't want to get into all the hassles, that means they have their own definition of relationship and their needs. Outside, when we see they are together with each other and they don't have we can judge it by saying, oh, they have fear of commitment, they don't respect the system. People who respect the system, do they really respect the system? And you won't have abuse, no? The most trusting relationship is husband and wife. If the husband abuses or the wife abuses the husband, there is marriage in that. They may be legally married, but there is a marriage there. We look at examples in our culture. Women had equal power as men. So in a living relationship, the so-called hierarchy will not be there. In a male-dominated society, women are supposed to follow certain protocol that won't be there. That is there in the marriage. But in the marriage, that's also changing now. So marriage is no longer an institution, it has become a nuisance for many people. So they don't want to have a commitment, they don't want to um, have the bindings of a marriage, and they just want they are defining their life, giving a new meaning to the relationship that they hold, so that there is no permanency there. Because everything is not, nothing is permanent in this world. What is permanent? Nothing. Good is not, bad is not, for suffering is not, happiness is not. So each person, it is their choice. If they are willing to live that and face the consequences of that, it hurts when the other person leaves, like in a marriage. So where have we progressed? So yeah, the message is, oh yeah, we only have a live-in relationship. Any of us can walk out. So that suits them. That is their choice. That is what I meant. It's their choice. It is very easy for us to sit outside and give an opinion about it, about something that I've never done. How will I know it? Each living relationship has their own complications and their own reasons for it. So it's very difficult for someone who has never experienced that to comment about it. It's like, I'm not elevating myself to Swami Vivekananda, but somebody asked Vivekananda ji, Swami Vivekananda, what do you think about women's education? In those days, there was a topic to be discussed. He said, why are you asking me? Ask the women. Who am I to talk about women's education? And so when such a great person can abstain from commenting on something, that's a message there. So know about it, you talk. We don't know about it, don't talk. I'm a married person. Next year I'll complete 50 years.
Wow.
How can I talk about living relationship and give an opinion on it? Very wrong. It's their choice. If they're happy, fine. If they're not happy, that's also fine. It's likely to happen even in a marriage. So today everything is questioned. Or you do an arranged marriage, you'll come a love come arranged marriage, you do a love marriage, you do an intercaste marriage, you do interreligious marriage, interfaith marriage, ultimately are you happy? Because all these things are man-made. So you can get out of it.
Yes, dear. The way you've shared your time today, the way you've shared your thoughts, your views, your experiences tells me that you are, you know, you've gained a lot of experience and exposure, and you shared that very well from your end. And that is why you have received several awards till date, right? You've received so many awards. Now, I'd like to talk about the awards and rewards that you have won with regard to training and development and all of that. If you can share something like, how does that feel when you receive a reward, or which is the best award that you've received and that makes you really feel, wow, I wanted this and I've achieved this. I would like to talk about the awards and rewards you've won.
None of the awards I knew existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first award I got was from my college. Was it from my college, the first one? No, no. My college called and said, as one of the alumni, we would like to acknowledge what you have done. So that was one award that I got. And the joke of it is the letter came and I saw the college, there's some they are calling for alumni meeting, who is going to go? And I tore the letter without reading, and then I put it in the dustbin. My husband asked, so when are you going for the award? I said, what award? He said, that letter was about your award. Don't you know that? I realized, oh my God. And I took it out of the dustbin. I realized that I have torn my letter. Went back to the college, got another letter, and then I went and got my award. What did it feel at that time? Actually, it didn't feel anything because I felt, okay, someone is noticing that I have done something. The award that I got from Elite School of Optometry, the Shankar Netralya's Hospital, School of Optometry, um, they first gave me for some contributions that I have done because I've been teaching the students the past 35 years on communication. So that award meant a lot because I have worked with them right from the batch one. So I've seen the industry grow, that optometry field grow. It felt very good that I could be a part of an initiative this hospital has taken. The same institute gave me they had instituted this award only in the after 2005 or 6 or something. So the principal called and said, ma'am, we want to give you an award for being the best senior faculty. I said, wow, that's great. Because when you're in a non-commercial organization, you don't get awards. It's not given every year. So this was something that they started. So first time when I got, I said, wow. Second time when I got, another teacher asked, what did you do to get it again? I said, I have no idea. Then after 2-3 years, I got once more. I said, okay, 3 times I've got. Fantastic. Enough. Last year, I got 4th time. That was a message for me to say, continue your work. Someone is noticing it. So the award meant that whatever, so I asked the principal, what are your parameters here? I have no idea. She said, there are many, ma'am. One day you come, I'll tell you. I said, I don't want to know. Let me be just by myself. So these awards mean that someone is noticing you are doing a good job. Recently, the one of the portals, okay, one award that I got, which is totally out of the blue, was eminent woman of training and development by Rajalakshmi group of education institutions. That was totally out of the blue. I don't know how it came. So I believe these awards, when it comes from a field, from persons we don't even know they are going to give, it's a signal that you are doing something good, continue doing your good. Don't get into different. Then as a concept, so for me, I've been in the training, all that I've got, okay, fine. I teach a paper on communication skills from 1985, and this is the 40th year, the 35th batch actually. When I started doing counseling, I do for a portal, Yodos, which is a portal for IIT Madras. I go as a face-to-face counselor. Last year, I got an award for being one of the Hall of Fame counselors and also award for customer centricity. Now, these I don't know these awards are existing till I got it on the mail saying you've been given this. So that was another feedback saying continue your good work. Someone is getting benefited from it. Maintain that. So the message is from the universe. The awards mean that people are noticing it. Yes, you need to do, and to reach that point, you need to keep doing. Without expecting it, we need to do it. I cannot work. So I have not worked for any of the awards. I don't get a sense of achievement. But in fact, I'm feeling very humbled to say, you thought this is your purpose of your life and you did. Someone is getting benefited, continue the good work. So when people ask how many awards did you get, I said, this is way before I got some awards. I said, I'm an individual freelance trainer. Freelance trainers don't get awards. We get only further assignments. So awards don't mean anything unless we make it meaningful to ourselves. Then it becomes like a ego trip. Okay.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. One last question. What is it that you love about yourself as of date? Like, what is it that you admire in your own self?
Being true to myself.
It's really nice. Now, like all the 24 hours are given to each one of us. How does a good day or a beautiful day, like, how would you define a good day or a beautiful day just in one word?
Peace. When I'm peaceful, it's a good day. And I know the people ask ups and downs and all that. In my line, we get assignments, you won't get assignments. Some people will see it as low. I will say that's a learning time for me. So I've never seen low in my life. So I'm very fortunate that I'm well placed in life. And I believe that anyone who is got a reasonable standard of living should think of contributing. Because it is not, life is not about always hardships and all that. Even when you're doing well, you need to think a little broader. So what opened my mind to contributing was one of the theories of Erik Erikson's theory, which says at 40 plus you need to have one of the milestones is generativity. You should be contributing member of the society. At that point in my 20s, I didn't understand what it meant. But later I understood it is like when you do something, it needs to impact the society. Not with the intention of gaining something, but giving something. So if we are not able to give something to others, this whole life is wasted. I living for myself, my joy, my everything is a very narrowed. It's not wrong, but you have so much of potential. Come out and do something for somebody. Everything is not about money, about success, about achievements. It is about living with oneself with an inner peace. That is something very important.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Thank you so much, Dr. Sumati. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, getting to know you, getting to know your thoughts. And you come across as a very positive person, sharing positive vibes. You uplift people in front of you. See, when people sit with you, automatically they are elevated to the next level. Like nobody will ever feel bored in your company, or no one will ever feel like low or without any energy. You always are that person filled with lots of energy and you light up the room. As far as I can say, that's what
Thank
I've
you.
experienced that with you, dear.
Thank you for the opportunity to share about myself because not everybody will ask about me, who I am. That's a quest I'm on in a deeper way. Who I am. Who am I? The question I ask myself, and I'm a seeker. So I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of refinement, and it's a continuous journey. And I'm very fortunate that I got this exposure right now. And then I'm very happy this conversation happened. Thank you.
Thank you for obliging to share your time, ma'am. We look forward to the next interaction with you. We'd love to hear you and empower us again. And I'm sure each one of them who would view this session would definitely learn something, how to be powerful, how to make the right kind of choice, how to be responsible for yourself, how to take care of yourself. As you said, the I and self, like, you mentioned all of that very clearly. And especially with regard to mothers you have given, like who asked you not to love yourself, like with regard to food, many of us. So I could go back to my past, like, we sacrifice sometimes and wait for them. So take care of yourselves. You've given a lot of output. You've shared that so well. Thank you so much. Stay connected and stay blessed, dear.
Thank you so much.
Romba Romba Nandri, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you. So dear friends, please do share this video with the right kind of people. You never know who may be inspired. And if you'd love to connect with our celebrity guest, we'll share her details in the description. You could get connected to her with regard to training, development. If you'd love to have a counseling session with ma'am, you could get connected with her individual counseling and group counseling as well. She's a counselor and a therapist as well. It's really nice to connect yourselves with the right kind of professionals to get the right kind of information that you need in your life. Do not follow anything that is not suitable for your life, or do not get the wrong kind of people in your life to lead your path or to guide you or to mentor you. With this, we'd like to sign off now from the International Fab Talks. If you like what the International Fab Talk team is doing, stay connected with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. Above all, prioritize yourself, give importance to your family members, and of course, play your role for the planet. Save the planet. You keep your environment clean and green. Signing off. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely.